Hello, current or potential marriage and family studies majors. My name is Alicia Adams, and I will be going over an internship or career possibility in this field through this presentation today. I did my internship through the Utah Foster Care Foundation and could not have been happier about my decision. Eight years ago, my husband and I were foster parents. Here's a picture of our family on the day that we adopted our youngest son. I had thought about continuing my education in the social welfare area for a long time, but becoming a foster parent really cemented this desire for me. When I finally went back to school and needed an internship, the Utah Foster Care Foundation was at the top of my list because of my own personal experiences of working with them years ago. They were such a wonderful resource for our family, and I wanted to give back. When I called the local region of the foundation in Orem, Utah, I was told that they already had an intern. However, when I told them that I was a former foster parent, they made room for me. When they offered me the position, after interviewing with them, they told me that the only reason they decided to take on another intern was because of my experience. So take that as a lesson in getting in the door. Hype up your experiences and what you can offer that others cannot. One of the requirements to becoming a foster parent is to take pre-service classes. These classes help prepare the foster parents in many ways, including how DCFS works, how to deal with trauma responses that the children might exhibit, and how to keep yourself well cared for. It had been 8 years since I had took those classes, and I knew that I had forgotten much. I asked if I could take some of those classes again, and they were more than willing to let me, as they know that it would help me in the future when helping foster parents who had questions. I wanted to be as effective of a representative of the foundation as possible, but I also read over some of the foundation's scope of work to make sure that I understood acronyms that were being used, knowing policies on certain matters, and foster care facts. Here on the screen is some foster care facts in case you are interested. Once I had the classes behind me and reading the scope of work, I could dive into my responsibilities. Sometimes my responsibilities were simple, such as filling and counting Easter eggs that could be used at an Easter celebration for foster children and their families. Other times, it was much more serious, as I sat in on meetings with members of the Utah Foster Care Foundation and DCFS, after reading home studies and learning of some of the terrible things that our foster children go through before being taken out of their homes. Other times, I was job shadowing as initial consultations were taking place with potential foster parents, learning how to properly identify those individuals who are viable candidates for foster parenting. I sat in many different meetings with different divisions within DCFS to help them understand what the foundation provided and how we could best serve them. Mostly, I was a support to my supervisors and the teachers by doing whatever was asked of me. Sometimes that would mean that I would be putting in sensitive information into our DACs or SAFE programs. Sometimes it was getting kids together for our foster children. There was always things to be taken care of or help to be offered. There are two main areas that I felt I benefited the foundation the most. The first being a former foster parent. It is so helpful to any organization if the person already has a personal tie or experience, and I had both. My tie to the foundation made it so where I was already passionate about its mission going into it. My experience as a former foster parent gave me the privilege of current foster parents opening up to me because they knew that I understood. However, I also knew the importance of keeping biological families together and what the studies say on the matter. I knew how to support that effort and therefore knew how to guide foster parents. But I also knew the side of being a foster parent and seeing all the hurt, the biological parents can sometimes cause for these foster children. I was able to validate their feelings and experiences while also backing up research and encouraging the parents to not give up on the system laid before them. The second benefit I was able to offer the foundation was physically being able to do something that I formed and saw that it went through smoothly. I asked my supervisors what was most needed, and then asked my Relief Society president if we could have a service project centered around that. Here's a picture of 10 Relief Society sisters and young women who got together one night to sew bags for foster children. Before we started, I was able to give them statistics concerning foster care and its ongoing needs. One of those needs were replacing trash bags for fabric ones. When a foster child is being taken out of their home, most of the time they do not have luggage to put their clothes or belongings into, so they resort to trash bags. I was able to convey to the sisters that not all people can become foster parents, but all people can help in some way. We also collected socks and underwear, as that is the most needed items at this time for foster children in this area. I benefited most in knowing that I could do something hard and turn it into good, just in a different direction. Like I told the Relief Society sisters and young women, that not everyone can become foster parents, but that they could all help in some way, the same applies to me. I was nervous about going into this internship because of a fear that it would spark old feelings of needing to foster again. I knew that my family was not in a place to do so, and so I feared feeling a lot of guilt. But instead, I learned quickly that I could help in a different way. I got to help my supervisor support foster parents. It may not be a direct way of helping the children of foster care, but my time spent at the foundation was sure to have helped make life easier on foster parents, who then would in turn make life easier for foster children. One important connection between my coursework at BYU Idaho and my experience during my internship became apparent at a cluster facilitator meeting. As I was sitting in on the meeting, I noticed several times that the facilitators brought up issues that caused some conflict between them and the employees of the Utah Foster Care Foundation. It surprised me because I had never witnessed discord at all within the time that I had been with the foundation. As new conflicts were being brought up, I was reminded of the conflict theory that I was taught in my family theories and dynamics class. Believe it or not, it was my favorite topic in the class, while also being my most uncomfortable. I've never been good with conflict, but I quickly learned two important lessons. One is that the presence of conflict can actually be a process of Christ-like learning. If we think of Christ's life, he was often in conflict with others. His very presence caused much discord with the people he taught and lived near. Christ taught us that that peace can be found when we acknowledge conflict with authenticity and humility and work together to resolve it, which leads to the second lesson I learned. Conflict often leads to change. When we listen to others and work together through it, we can find resolutions. That is exactly what happened by the end of that cluster facilitator meeting. If anyone is interested in completing their internship at the Utah Foster Care Foundation in Orem, Utah, and helping them serve by finding, educating, and nurturing families to meet the needs of children in foster care, they should contact Jenny Shepard at 801-602-4084.